Hi, and welcome to Crypto Cash Army. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why Harmony One seems to be crashing and dumping. So let's get into it. Again, I'm going to try to answer the question, why is Harmony One seem to be dumping today? So we're going to start off by looking at our 1 hour chart in TradingView. And if you look at the chart, you can see that ever since about March 29, Harmony One's been on a pretty steady decline. And it started out at about 22.4 cents on the 29th, and it went all the way down as low as about 14.5 cents. Now that's a pretty steep decline. And as you can see here, there's just a lot of red. It's bleeding profusely. And if we go to our 4 hour chart, we can see that it's pretty much a lot of the same. Let's spread this out. We had our up and down here on the 29th, where we had our all-time high of 22.4 cents. You can see that ever since that time, it's just been a straight shot down almost, with just a few green blips in between. And also, now I'm going to go back to our 1 hour chart. We're going to take a look at our RSI, which is our relative strength index. And basically what this indicator tells us is if a coin is overbought or oversold, if there's too many buyers that have already bought it, or if there's too many sellers that have already sold it. Now, you'll see that this little graph here has two lines, and these represent the upper and lower bounds of the RSI. This is 70 and this is 30. Anywhere in between here is deemed to be average or moderate volume. Anything over 70 or over this line is considered to be overbought. Means too many people have bought it in a short period of time. And anything under this bottom line means that it's been oversold, or too many people have sold it in a short period of time. Now, the 1 hour chart right now is kind of relatively moderate. It's only sitting at about 40. And the 1 hour chart is about 34, 35, somewhere in there. And the current price, as you can see here, is about 15.8 cents. But let's take a look at the daily chart. Now, we were talking about all the red in the hourly and 4 hour charts. But as you can see on the daily chart, there's not a lot of red in the chart. In fact, it's pretty much a straight shot up and then just a little flag, if you will, of red on the decline. And that's actually a pretty bullish or a pretty positive signal. But if we look at the RSI, we can see that it's considerably higher. Now, this is still not overbought, and it's still kind of acceptable. It's not too high, but it's not really low. We could stand for this to go a little lower to make the buying pressure for Harmony increase and start to see the price improve. But let's go to the weekly chart. Let's spread this out some. As you can see here, that there's no red at all ever since like almost the beginning of February. It's been just a straight shot of consistent green candles. Now that will end when this chart updates. At this time, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 4th of April in Singapore, where I'm located. And if we look over here, we can see this little countdown timer here. And this tells us when the weekly chart is going to update and the current time period, weekly period, is going to end. So in about 16 hours, this chart is going to update. And when it does, I am 100% positive you're going to see a red candle in here. Now, I'm not exactly sure how far that's going to come down. It'll probably not come down a lot, because in the grand scheme of things, Harmony has not decreased in price that much. But what's more interesting, if we look down here at the RSI, we can see that it is extremely high. It's well over 95, which is, of course, considerably in the overbought territory. But again, when this chart updates, that will come down significantly, I believe, and it could approach 70, high 60s, which will make this a lot more attractive for buyers because it's in a relatively moderate trading zone for the week. Let's go back to the hourly chart here for a second. Now, if we look at the hourly chart, and let's condense this a little bit so we can see price action for a longer period. If we look at this chart, we'll see that starting at about the 25th or so, 23rd of February, we had a major decline here where we lost about, let's measure just how much we lost. About 40% before we started this just parabolic jump upwards. And if we look here, you can see that starting about the 23rd, we went all the way up to our all-time high, which on March 29th of 22.4 cents. But we did have this major correction at the end of like the last week of February. And I expect that's something akin to what we're going to see here with Harmony. Now, if we zoom out a bit, you'll see I've drawn a Fibonacci chart. Let me expand this so we can see it a little better. And this shows us that this, if you see, this is running up pretty much at a 45-degree angle if we start at the bottom and go here. And that's a good thing, and I'll explain why in just a bit. But if we look at the chart, we'll see that we've only, from our all-time high up here, which is roughly 22.5 cents, we've only retraced down about 35%. And that's not too much. In fact, if it would go down to, as you can see here, it's playing with the 0.382 level on the Fibonacci, which is about 15. But if it would come down a little more, say to around 12.5 cents, that actually would be a lot more bullish and a little stronger for Harmony. And the reason I say that is because according to Gann theory, and if you're not familiar with Gann theory, you should do a little research on W.D. Gann. And he was a real smart guy back in the early 1900s who created a lot of the well-known indicators and theories for modern trading. And according to him, a healthy stock or asset, in this case, Harmony One, a cryptocurrency coin, will increase or decrease at about a 45-degree angle. And that means that the stock or asset or coin or whatever is in balance with a certain time period. Now, if we go over here in our tools, you'll notice that we have actually have a few tools named after Gann. I'm going to choose this one, the Gann square, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about with this 45-degree angle. If I start drawing this out here, you'll notice that this line here aligns almost perfectly with the way Harmony One is increased over the past month or so. For now, I'm just going to get rid of that. And why that is important is that Gann theory also says that when an asset or stock or coin, in this case, retraces, it will normally retrace or reduce in price to around 50% of the uptrend. In this case, that would bring us down to about anywhere between 10 to 12 cents, 10 to 12 and a half cents. So if it would come down in this area here somewhere, anywhere pretty much in here, before it starts its uptrend, it'd probably have a lot faster ascent or a climb upward. And when it does that, you should definitely consider stocking up on more Harmony and increasing your bag. So, and as dependable as Gann theory is, and usually it's pretty accurate, but it's not 100%. So there's other things we can check though to find what our support levels will be or where we think Harmony is actually going to turn around. And it has turned around a little bit today. It was down as low as 14.8 cents and it's sitting about 15.8 cents now, and it has climbed up as high as 17. So it is bouncing in and out due to some increased volume today. The volume is sitting at about 250 million as of the time of this recording, but the average volume has been considerably higher, as you can see, being about 740 million Harmony 1 tokens or coins being traded every day. But now we're going to look at something, like I said, that'll help us get a better idea of what the support levels for Harmony should be. This is called an order book depth chart. And if you head over to Binance, or I'm sure other exchanges have something similar to it as well, and you go to their trading window or their trading panel, you'll usually see a chart and usually have their own chart, and they usually have one from TradingView. If we look at the TradingView chart, we'll see that it's pretty much the same as the native TradingView browser chart. But they also usually have a depth chart. And let's give this a chance to settle down here. And if we look at this, we can scroll in or we can scroll out. Now, if we scroll out, we'll see that we're facing a pretty hard, what they call sell wall. And that means there's going to be some selling pressure in the short term for Harmony 1. But if we scroll out a little bit, we can see where that selling pressure is. Now, what this chart tells us is that at any given price, there are a certain number of buyers and sellers who've already entered limit orders in Binance. And if you're trading a coin like Harmony or any other, relatively volatile or high volume altcoin, I suggest you trade it on Binance. You buy or sell it, because the volume on Binance is just so much higher than any other exchange. In fact, probably the next 2 or 3 exchanges combined. Now, like I said, this chart tells us that at any given price point, how many makers and takers or sellers and buyers have entered limit orders at any given price point. So if we look over here on the right side of the chart, you'll see we have some resistance at about 17 cents, because about 6 million coins have been offered for sale when the price hits 17 cents. And when Binance detects that the price has hit that point, it'll attempt to sell or liquidate all those coins immediately. Now, on the left side, we do have some significant price levels that'll offer some support, but they're considerably lower right now. So we have about 5.75 million coins being offered for sale at about 15 cents, for 14.99 or 15 cents. Then as we go up, we have almost 11 million coins being offered for 14 cents. So what that tells us is there's some fairly significant support at about 14 cents for Harmony. So in the short term, it probably shouldn't fall any lower than 14 cents. Or if it does, it should bounce back very quickly. But over here, if we notice, we'll have at just under 18 cents at about 17.99. And 0.99 sell points are very popular. You can see that we have about 13 500,000 coins being offered for sale. Harmony is still looking like it's going to face some fairly significant upward pressure to get past 17 and 18 cents. But one thing that Harmony does have going for it is a relatively low volume, which is protecting the price. If the volume was more volatile and higher, we may have seen this correction come down significantly more before heading back up. But like I said, the low volume is actually protecting Harmony's price a little bit. So where do I think the price for Harmony is going to go? I believe we can also use our Fibonacci chart to give us an idea of where we think Harmony is going to go. So we're going to go down to this low here where it is on the other chart. Now let's extend it out some. Okay, that should be good. Now, once this does finish correcting, and this could do a rebound about where it is, and it may not go all the way down to this 50% level on the Fibonacci. But even if it does, let's get rid of some of these lines. Even if it does come down here to the 50% mark, it'll probably increase about the same amount it did in the last uptrend. And if we go back and look at how much of an increase that was, let's just do a quick measure here. As you can see, that's about 1,000 to 1,100%. Now, if it goes up that much now, let's stretch this out so we can see what's going on. And that'll give us a price target of about $1.46. And I think that's hard in the short to medium term, but we'll definitely see a lot higher Harmony probably by the end of April and most certainly by the mid-May. But I think our first price target is probably going to be somewhere right around the 36-cent mark. As you can see, that's like our 0.168, 1618 level on the Fibonacci. And then our next price target is going to be about 56 cents. And I do think we can see those levels by the end of April. Now, moving forward, maybe there'll probably be another 30, 40, 50% retracement somewhere. So if we go up to here, you'll probably see a retracement somewhere down to here before Harmony starts to make another move. But once it makes another move, it could start approaching the 90-cent to $1 range. And so overall, I think it's been a very healthy retracement, drawback, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. And Harmony's not at a bad buy-in point now if you want to, stock up on more Harmony. But I do think we may see Harmony decrease by a couple more pennies before it starts any major upward trend. And that's all I got for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And please comment below, if you're holding Harmony, what are your thoughts? What do you think Harmony is going to do over the next month or 2 months? Harmony is one of my biggest bags, and I'm not married to it, but I'm going to hold on to it for a while. And once again, thank you for joining, and I hope you found something useful in this video. Please share, please like, please subscribe. This is Crypto Cash Army signing off for now. Bye-bye.